All right, so I am so excited for our final speaker of the night. He has 3 fun facts as well. So our final speaker of the night is Sathish, and he is fluent in Mandarin because he grew up in Singapore. He goes to the movies once a week alone, and the first time he celebrated his birthday, he was 9 years old. It's a long time to wait to celebrate your birthday. Come on up, Sathish, and share your fuck up.
Yo, turn that up a little bit, man. Turn that up a little. Thank you. Jai ho! Thank you, DJ. Thank you. Hi, guys. So I love movies. Movies has been my escape all my life. And it's fitting today that when I look back, a lot of the stories I'm going to share with you guys feels like a movie. So I thought, okay, today, let's imagine a Bollywood movie starring yours truly. It's going to be the theater of the mind, so you're going to have to imagine the sceneries. We're going to have some villains. We're going to have some heroes. We're going to have some sadness. We're going to have some happiness. And shit, like a good, really good Bollywood movie, we're going to have a dance together, too, because you got to put a dance song in there at some point. But I was thinking about, when did I first hear the word fuck? Because I come from a very conservative South Asian family. We grew up in India and then Singapore. So I was thinking, where the hell did I hear that word first? Because I say it so passionately all the time today. People that work with me, I'm always like, fuck this, fuck that, let's go. And when Marsha's like, come and speak, I was like, awesome. I get to live my passion. So let's start this movie by imagining little me on the far left. That's my brother. I don't know the kid in the middle. I forgot who he is because it was so long ago. I was probably around 7 or 8. And some of the past speakers have been really good at date stamping the years, and I'm not doing that math for y'all. So I turned 50 next year, so when I tell you I was 9 or 8, you can do the math if you want. But I was like, I'm not doing those math for you guys. So I was standing there in that outfit, and my dad wanted to take a picture, and he had one of those shitty cameras with no zoom lenses. So I had to walk backwards. There was a beautiful fountain, and as you can probably predict, I took a few steps back, and as I took my last step, I'm falling backwards into this beautiful fountain, and I heard, fuck, as he ran towards me. Now, he's dragging my ass out of it. I'm fully drenched in this disgusting water, and then he pulls me aside and slaps the shit out of me, because he's embarrassed that I'm wet, and this little kid in the middle's laughing, and all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, I've got shitty water on me, I've got salty tears coming down. Like, if this is what fuck feels like, shit, I never want to feel like this ever again. But God had a different plan because all of my greatest lessons in life was that moment over and over and over again. And I think I'm really good at fucking up and then learning from it. So that was Singapore, but I was born in India. And being born in India and leaving at the age of 6, the thing that I didn't realize was the culture that I would lose. I'm the eldest son of a huge clan, and so uncles and aunts and cousins and nieces and grandfathers, grandmas, everything was cut with one flight. So now we're in Singapore. I'm 7. I've never had a birthday. I didn't even know that was celebrated because we didn't really do that shit back in India. And we're living in a house that we rented a small room in. And at 9, the people that we were renting with said, hey, we should do a birthday party for your son. And my dad was like, nah, we don't do birthday parties, and it was kind of cool. And they're like, no, fuck it, we're gonna do a birthday party. We're gonna organize all of it. You live here, so you gotta show up for your birthday. And so they threw this giant party and invited all their neighbors and all their friends, and they're a very cool couple. They went nightclubbing all the time, and they were just cool. And so I'm now celebrating my 9th birthday for the first time. I have no idea who the fuck's in this room. And they're singing me a song, and I have no idea why you're celebrating my birthday. And I remember thinking, shit, there's a lot of people here, and I'm so alone, so lonely. And that's the first time I met that character in my life. And a magical bench of team players showed up, and the first person to take a seat was loneliness. So I said, okay, this is cool. And then we decided to leave Singapore, because in Singapore, you take a test when you're 13, a national test. And whatever your score is, they decide whether you're blue collar, white collar, your career for the rest of your life. And then I had ADHD and dyslexia and all of the cocktails that I had, and nobody realized what it was. So first they tried to beat it out of me, it didn't work. Then I was just ignored. And then the proof that my dad needed was that test score. So when a little country, a little tiny dot, labels you uneducatable and dumb and stupid, the thing that he wanted to do immediately was flee Singapore because it's so close to India that shit, God forbid, other immigrants from our town showed up. Fucking embarrassment again. So we jumped on a plane and we landed in Toronto, in Scarborough. And the whole time I'm thinking, shit, what does this mean? Because if I don't have friends anymore that I was making friends with in Singapore, and I don't have any family, who the fuck am I? What's the foundation? What does it mean to be brown? Because there's no more relationships to learn from this stuff. And as we landed and I started to build my life in Toronto and Scarborough, it was easy to ignore me because they didn't understand me. And so from the age of 15 or 16, my dad just stopped talking to me for 20, 30 years. And so all of a sudden, I had another bench player, silence. Nobody's talking to me at home. I go out into the world, and you know, when you're starting high school from a brand new country, and you don't know anybody because you didn't grow up with anybody, how do you make friends? There's no apps back there. I had a decent jump shot, so I was like, okay, let me go play basketball. So I played basketball, but while the team was very diverse, I wanted to connect with South Asians because I was missing that at home. Religion, food, culture, conversation. Somebody to bitch about my dad, because everybody had dad issues. I was like, that doesn't exist. So silence continues to sort of play. But I remember when I first bought my first Walkman, little Sony Walkman. I got Jay-Z's album. I put that shit in there. And all of a sudden, my silence was cut by this beautiful music. I had music on all day in my head. Didn't matter what it was, from Iron Maiden to Samantha Fox to Bon Jovi to hip-hop. I was just consuming content because as soon as I put my headphones on, I'm never alone. I got friends wherever I go. I don't need anybody else. But I was still trying to find people. And I grew up in Scarborough because I learned English in Singapore. I was very good at speaking English, but I was getting acclimatized to Scarborough English. And for those of you that know Scarborough, we're mixing West Indian and Jamaican. And for 3 years, that's all I was surrounded by. And so all of a sudden, the West Indians are like, you must be West Indian. I said, no, I'm South Indian. Oh, shit. Okay. And the South Indians are like, you sound like West Indian. Who are you? So again, I didn't fit in. So now I'm frustrated. Fuck, I look like y'all, but I don't connect. So frustration joined the bench. And the team is building. I don't like any of the players on the bench, but I've got a small team that's starting to build. So then I decided I'm going to go to university and learn and become somebody and fuck everybody else. And I'm self-made, and this is what I wanted to do. So I went to Ryerson. And Ryerson was such a beautiful melting pot of all sorts of brown people. And I was like, yeah, I got the whole world right here. I'm going to find my home. Then I realized, shit, we're super divided. Am I North Indian or South? Am I vegetarian or a meat eater? Which Bollywood movies do I like? What music do I like? I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, I still can't seem to figure out what the hell I was going to do. Then I learned how to DJ. And I realized, oh, shit, this division doesn't matter when I drop the beat, right? That division doesn't matter when I drop the beat. So we're going to do a little bit of a fun exercise right now because you guys will see it. Put one right hand up, play along, don't be shy, and cup it like you're holding a light bulb. Some of you might have done this dance. Use your left hand and cup a little doorknob. And on 3, you're just going to wiggle your shoulders, okay? 1, 2, 3. Keep going. Don't stop. Like, go into it. There we go. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Wheel it back, man. Thank you. So, as a DJ, I was constantly told what music I can play and what I can't play. So when this track came out, I was like, oh shit, it's game over now, because brown people are everywhere. Jay-Z made it cool. So I got the vinyls. The next weekend when I'm DJing, I put the record on, and the club owner ran to me in 3 seconds. We don't play this kind of music here. I said, which part, the Jay-Z or the brown part? He's like, nah, we don't do this shit because people are going to fight. People are going to piss off each other. Y'all don't get along. So my frustration is just anger now. I'm like, I don't understand, man. How can music not unite people? So I spent the next 3 years thinking, well, if I don't have the foundation, how many people are like me without this foundation? What's the collateral damage to immigration? We don't talk about it because as young kids, we're pulled over here by parents. So I spent the next 3 years thinking about how can I change this and what can I do? We just played that. So I was invited to be a marketing and music consultant to a music festival. It's the first time I've heard about a music festival. I grew up in Scarborough. We don't have music festivals. I'm a book nerd and DJ in Toronto. So I went to this music festival. It's a South Asian music festival. The lady who ran it, Cheryl, an amazing human being. And she said, I need your help. I need to figure out how to connect to the young folks. And can you help me music panel? So I did. I joined her. And I realized that year when it happened at Young Dundas Square that, holy shit, the festival is what I've been looking for. Because it connects all the cultures, not just South Asians, but the non-South Asians. We get to share the best of us. We get to expose the worst of us. So this is my home. This is what I got to do. And that summer in 2006, after the festival, I found out that she's going to shut it down. I said, come on, man, you can't shut it. I just found you. Like, this shit's taken me how long? Fucking 2 countries and a bunch of issues, and I finally found you, and you want to turn this off? I said, let me take it. Let me take it. Let me run it. I'll buy it. I license it. Whatever the fuck you want. But do not stop because this is what I need to do. And she poured a bunch of tea for us. We sat across in her kitchen, and she just listened to me. And she said, listen, man, this legacy can't be yours. Because I don't believe in your vision that South Asians locally can come together and in harmony and celebrate. I just don't think it's going to work. That's why I'm stopping. I said, cool. You believe it. Let me run with it. And I had this Godfather moment where she kind of pushed the teacup to the side, kind of leaned forward. And she's like, you know, if you care that much, you do it yourself. If you think it's that easy, you do it yourself. I said, oh, fuck, man. So I got into my shitty car, and I was driving back to Scarborough. And now I'm angry. I'm angry, and I'm like, well, what do I do? And at that moment, the 9-year-old kid that felt lonely, the 16-year-old kid in high school that felt really, really frustrated, and the 30-year-old man who was angry showed up. Because when you fuck up, logic disappears. You're emotional. And I was like, fuck, all those 3 guys showed up at the same time saying, fuck it, man. Up to now, you've been labeled fuck up all your life. There's silence and there's noise in your head that doesn't make any sense. One more fuck up won't make a difference. Who cares? So I said, all right, let's do that. So I said, I'm just going to do it by myself. See what the fuck happens. Let me skip this. So on April 6, 2007, I put a Facebook post out saying, hey, I'm doing a show in an inaugural festival, and I'm looking for artists. The show was May 26th. When I worked with Cheryl, it took us a year to plan the show. Sponsors, funding, venue, programming, security, all of it. I was like, fuck it. If I wait another year, I'm going to lose my mojo. April 2007, I was like, yo, we're going to do this. Let's just go. So I had less than 30 days to figure out how to book artists, book the venue, and before that, I've only done DJ shows. Maybe a room of 100 people, 150 people, flyered a bunch of stuff. But this is at a scale that I've never seen. And when I volunteered with her, we had about 6,000 people that showed up at the square. So I was like, cool. If 3,000, 4,000 show up, I'm good. And what's the worst that could happen? People hate the fucking lineup, and they go home and complain about it. Let's just see what happens. If you can see, this is my stage design, the most ghetto stage design possible. If you've ever been to Young Dundas Square, they paid a lot of money for this bullshit little yellow thing we created to hang last minute. And I don't know why the stairs have like these feathers and carpet. We had no branding for the sponsors at all. But this was like, yo, let's go. The 9-year-old's active, the 16-year-old's active. We're going to go and do it, fuck it up or not. So we launched. If the video plays, she's basically saying at around 1 o'clock, oh my gosh, look at all you amazing people at the square. It's so amazing. And I come on stage, and I'm like, yes. And I'm looking at maybe 1,500, 2,000 people at about 1 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, we're halfway there. We get another 1,500 people the next 8 hours. Shit, we're good. Like, I'm all right. Then people start coming and coming and coming. And by 7 o'clock, we had more than 12,000 people at the square, okay? For the day, we did 22,000. Here's the scary part. The 3 things I fucked up on is when you're running a festival, you need to worry about the sponsors and the brand. You need to figure out what the fuck to do with the people that are showing up, the crowd. And you need to worry about a lineup. I had no experience in any of these, and I'm operating in pure emotion and like fuck the world attitude because I'm tired of being this little thing everybody's stepping on. I needed to figure out what the hell do I do. So as a brand, I did nothing for my brand. We had RBC as a title sponsor, and we said nothing about them at any point. I got on stage. I think I thanked them once in 12 hours, and I was like, fuck. I was on autopilot, man. 2, I had planned for 3,000 people. When I told Young and Dundas I'm planning this and maybe 3,000 people will show up, they booked 2 security guards for the day. 2. And I was like, that's plenty. I don't know how many fucking people you need. But we had 12,000 people at night and 22,000 for the day, and they weren't prepared. But I was like, fuck you, you doubted me. Here you go. And 3rd, as a lineup, I'm not good at math. I booked 32 artists for 20 minutes each, which is a 9-hour run of show. I had 11 hours. I had to figure out sound check, delays, hosting, stage time. So I spent all my time running around begging artists to cut their slots to 5 minutes, giving them extra money so they won't complain, trying to figure out what the hell to do. And there was a moment where, like the Jay-Z song, our headliners were a group called Bills and Kashif. I don't know anything about these guys. If you watch this video, I love you guys. But back then, I had no idea who you were. They had a song called Two-Step Bhangra, and it was the only Indian song that was playing on 108, other than Jay-Z. We weren't mainstream. Nobody fucking listened to Indian music on radio. So I said, man, I'm going to book you guys as a headliner because you're my Jay-Z moment. So we are looking at this right here. You got to picture me on stage, the guys that are behind me backstage, and I'm saying, all right, last act of the night, Bills and Kashif. And the square erupted. There was about 6,000 14-year-old girls. As I'm standing in this spot right here, 6,000 girls come running towards me. And if there was ever a moment where I was like, oh, fuck. I had no security. I had no plan if somebody fell over. I had no first aid. I didn't have barricades. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen in the next 3 minutes. I literally, kid you not, there's a video out there where I just stood like this, fully expecting an impact of 6,000 young girls that are going to fucking push me down and get on stage. And then I heard this loud screaming voice. Ah! And I opened my eyes, and there was this beautiful young lady. Nobody crossed the line. Everybody came right up to the first step and just stood there. And I took a peek. Nobody was doing anything other than just standing and screaming. I was like, amen. We actually can survive this. And I only have to survive 45 more minutes, and then this whole fucking day is over. And I was wearing contacts back then. I didn't get my eyes fixed. I couldn't cry. Have you ever wanted to be in a position where you needed to cry to let that emotion out? I couldn't cry. I was like, fuck. I needed to let this out. So I'm going to show you guys a little clip just so you can see that I wasn't kidding. It is a madness. And this video is shitty because it's so old, but you'll see. This is the guys on stage, and as they pan to the crowd, you will see. This is me in the front going, what the fuck are we doing? And it's just beautiful energy for 45 minutes. And there's another part in the clip where I told the guys, please don't engage the ladies. Don't sing to them, don't talk to them, don't make eye contact, just fucking do your set. And the guy's like, cool, cool. And then he grabs the girl and starts singing. I'm like, fuck, man, you know? So the point of all this is, let me stop this. I thought I was done. I thought the energies that I had and the reason to prove myself and find a home in this new goddamn country. I'm 30-year-old, I'm confused as fuck. How do I find this home? And I thought nobody was gonna call back because the brand managers didn't like what the fuck I didn't do. The crowd was crazy and the security had a panic attack and Young Dundas was like, you're a shitty organizer. The artists were pissed because they wanted to get on stage because they thought there was gonna be nobody there. And then they saw the crowd. They're like, fuck, give me 1 minute, give me 30 seconds, give me 5 minutes. I just wanna do one song. I'm like, no, no, no. So artists are pissed off at me. My team is like, bro, why the fuck, like, who trusted you to lead this thing? And I remember sitting at the square long after everybody's done going, this is it, man. Like, I wanted this so badly, but I didn't think through it. But everything tonight was so perfect. It was music. It was culture. It was my people. It was the first time I felt proud of myself in this country. But this is almost too good to be true because everything got fucked in one night. And it took about a week or two, and then it sunk in that we did something special. Young Dundas called back and said, that's the most amazing thing we've ever seen in a culture that is so divided. You brought them all together. Amazing. How do we do that again? Our brand managers were like, you fucked up, but let's do it again next year. We'll teach you how to be a better marketer. I'm like, awesome. RBC signed a 4-year deal and we went across the country with them. Artists now had a place where they can feel like they belong. We no longer have to be doctors and engineers and business and accountants to fit in. Fuck it, we're a black sheep, but we're gonna be proud about it. So we built this instant community the next day, and I finally had an empty bench. I didn't have those fucking feelings anymore. I'm like, I don't need those feelings. I figured out how to deal with that emotion, and I'm happy to say this year is our 18th annual show, June 8th. And every year I think this is the last year, like Kobe said, job's not done. So why the hell are we gonna keep stopping? And so one day, if this ever becomes a movie, shit, I think there's a much better story than Slumdog Millionaire. Thank you, Marsha. Thank you to the other guests. I appreciate your time for letting me share.